Welcome back to Bad Movies Rule, the worst movie podcast ever recorded. And today, we're going all the way back to 1978. And we're going to cover one of the most insane cop movies ever made. Hello, boys.
Hey, how are you?
I've never been better.
Nice.
This is the best day ever.
You sound fantastic.
I appreciate that. It's a great day. The sun is shining. The sky is blue. I mean, it's cold out here in Wisconsin, but, you know, we're living life.
Yeah.
And we're loving life.
Loving life.
Both of those things are happening.
Live, laugh, love.
How are you guys today? Let's go through. This is the panel today, you guys. We've got an all-star cast in on Bad Movies Rule this morning. We got Mr. Joseph Goratowski here. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fantastic, man.
Joining us also this morning is Curt Mummer. Curt, how are you today, sir?
I'm great. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to answer.
Why are you afraid to answer?
Yeah, man.
I'm joking. I'm great. Thank you.
Bob Hauser is in here rocking a Ghostbusters shirt. We got Curt with a He-Man shirt on. And then me and you just with regular shirts. So I feel like
I'm
losers.
doing Johnny Cash over here. Just the man in black.
Well, good afternoon, you guys. I'm excited to dive into this. But before we dive into it, I just want to say to the people listening at home, thank you for all of your support. The podcast continues to grow, and it's because of you guys, and we love each and every one of you. So thank you for listening. If you guys could do me a favor right now, if you could press pause. I mean, not yet, but after I explain this, press pause on the episode. Now, Spotify allows you to review episodes. It used to be just Apple Podcasts, but now you can review and give a rating on Spotify. So if you could pause it, give us a 5-star rating. That would be a big help as far as us, getting out there, getting seen more. Spotify will put us out to more people. If you don't want to give us 5 stars, if you're like, this show is trash, like our email address, send that 1-star review to us at thisshowIstrash@gmail.com. Please skip Spotify and just send it to us.
Send it directly to us.
Because we'll read it on the show, and we want to know how terrible you think we are. I'm not saying you can't give us a bad rating, but just send it to us directly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And our email address, if you want to reach out to the show, is thisshowIstrash@gmail.com. And you can send us reviews. You can send us movies that you want us to talk about. You can even send us movie-related questions that you would like us to answer that maybe we wouldn't get to on a normal episode. Whatever you want to hear from us, email the show, and we'll get it on there. And then also follow us on TikTok. We've got a new TikTok that we've set up at Bad Movies Rule, and it's a place where we post clips from the show. We intercut with scenes from the movie, and it's a good place to stay up and get little tastes of the show here and there. So follow us on TikTok as well.
It seems to be really hot on that platform these days.
Yeah, we're almost at like 4,000 followers.
Yeah.
Wow,
that's fancy.
The recording of
on
this.
a very short amount of time, though. So
Yeah, in a week.
It's like literally a week.
Literally a week ago, we had 17, just because we had just started it. And
17 viewers?
17 followers.
Yeah.
And now we're up to almost 4,000. So it's been going really
That's
good.
not bad growth.
So thank you. This is what I'm saying. Thank you for so thank you. That's what I'm saying. Thank you for the support out there, people. Now, as far as today goes, I want you guys to take yourselves back to 1978. Not all of us in this room were alive. Were any of us alive in 1978?
No.
Oh, that's right. We're all 79.
Yeah, all 79.
Except for you.
Yeah.
You're a little baby.
Yeah.
You're a millennial.
Yeah.
That's okay. We won't hold that against you. But back in 1978, imagine you were making a cop movie like they did in the 70s. I mean, there's just all these kinds of cop movies.
Sure.
From
Pretty
the 70s,
common
right?
theme.
Pretty common. Mustachioed police officers chasing around.
Pretty hot.
Yeah.
That's a trope in itself.
That's right.
It's just cop movies.
Now imagine that you wanted to put somebody as one of the main characters in this movie that was wheelchair bound. I mean, pretty progressive for 1978.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And this guy is, I forgot his name. Hold on. Where is it? Oh, Ted. Okay. And this guy's name is Ted Vollrath. Great guy. And you put him in your movie and you're like, this guy is a black belt, even though he's in a wheelchair. Korean War veteran. Great dude, right? You're like, this is going to be a great movie because this is something nobody's ever seen before. Yeah. But as they sat around the table and they said to themselves,
Here it comes.
What should we call this movie?
Something, that kind of skates the edge of good and bad and
Yeah.
and
Something that
too
says
obvious and
But we need something
subtle.
descriptive.
something.
Yeah.
We need
something that
that's
tells
very-
people what they're in for.
something very accurate.
That's
Yeah.
right. And so, do you go with I don't know, Wheeler Cop
Nah.
or
nah.
no?
You want
Handy
more.
cop.
You
We need to be more specific about it.
you got to drill down even further.
Yeah. What does he not have?
I can't believe, as we sit here today, that we're about to talk about a movie, and the frickin' title is The Amazing Mr. No Legs.
Okay. The no legs is one thing. Why the Mister? And then they put amazing at the front.
I don't know.
Spider-Man.
I wish we had the DVD cover for this movie.
Somebody sat around a table,
On a
I'm
wheelchair.
assuming, or one person, but no one else said anything. Okay?
Yeah.
And they said,
The guy with the money was talking.
this is what we're going
This
with.
is what we're going to do.
And they pushed it across the table on a piece of paper, and everybody picked it up and then, oh, Mr. No Legs.
I'm hooked.
That's probably what happened. It was probably Mr. No Legs at first, and someone was like, I think we should make this movie. It would be amazing.
Yes.
Yes.
Wait a second. Let's call it The Amazing
Amazing
Mr.
Mr.
No
No
Legs.
They called this movie Mr. No Legs.
Yep.
And so you think, oh, it's about a cop with no legs.
Nope.
That would have been
But-
a much better movie. That would have been a much better movie.
So
High speed pursuit down a freeway, and he's just got rocket boosters on his wheelchair, blasting missiles.
hold on. This sounds like an incredible movie, not like the one that I watched.
No,
No, that's a different one. That's The Incredible Mr. No Legs.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Do you think we could hide Kurt's legs in a wheelchair?
We could just put green stockings like they did on Gary Sinise and Forrest Gump and just
There you
take
go.
your legs
Yeah,
out.
Lieutenant
Take your
Dan.
legs out.
But these days, you have to have a handicapped person to play a handicapped person. So we'd have to get well, I don't think Ted Vollrath passed away, unfortunately. So
In 2001, I believe.
yeah. So
A lot of people in this movie passed away, including the
Yeah.
wrestler that starred in the movie.
yeah. So we're gonna get into all of that, but just a little note on how we came across this, because this is not a movie that's widely available.
No.
In fact, I don't think it's streaming anywhere, right? I mean, you had to buy the Blu-ray.
I did. I didn't have to.
Tell
but
us the
I chose
story.
to.
Tell us the story, Kurt, of why and how we ended up here.
How did we get to this movie?
This is my grandma's Make-A-Wish. It's a geriatric Make-A-Wish. And
Wow.
she was like,
On her
I
de-
love
she was
this
on her
movie.
deathbed?
Yeah. And I was like,
And she
all
said,
right.
"Come closer, Curtis."
Yes. And I leaned in and I was like, yes, Grandma. She was like, you need to review this movie. And that was it. Eyes closed and scene.
Then did she
Yeah.
force incinerate like Luke Skywalker, or
yeah.
No.
Just dusted.
No.
I was like, she's like, one day this could all be yours.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, so we were doing Gymkata, and you know how sometimes you're online, like I was on Amazon looking at Gymkata stuff.
Sure.
And it'll say like, people who watch this also watch.
enjoyed this.
And I look down and I see the title, and of course I spit out my drink, right? I was like, Mr. No Legs?
Yeah.
I'm clicking on this.
Yeah.
Right?
Clickbait.
I mean, well, you got me. And I clicked on it and I said, this can't be real. And then I looked it up and this was a real movie,
yeah.
which I sent to you to go, just to say, can you believe this is real?
Yeah.
And then I get a message back from Curt about 4 minutes later. I bought it. Which is how we're now talking about it now.
Well, and 4 minutes after that, I sent you the trailer
Right.
that I found online.
Right.
It was like watching a snuff film. Like they literally sent it to you and they're like,
That's right.
like I shouldn't be watching this.
No.
And I sent it to James and he was like, this is crazy. I
right.
can't believe this was ever made.
Right.
This was purchased like the equivalent of going through the checkout line at Walmart. And you got the gums and everything like there. You're like,
That's exactly-
well, I don't need it, but now that I'm looking at it, I have to have it.
I kind of want to watch this movie.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
it's
No, absolutely.
so this is how so I realize we're reviewing a movie that it's probably going to be very difficult for you, the listener, to go and see. I mean, it's not on YouTube.
you're gonna have to buy it.
You're going to have to buy it.
It's $22.99.
There's parts of it on YouTube. I mean, you can see there's like
Yeah.
a scene here or a scene there.
Sure. Snippets.
snippets, and the trailer itself is like worth
Or-
2 minutes of your time.
If there's any editors out there, re-edit the film,
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
piece it together,
You could do it.
and make your own Mr. No.
So you're going to have to buy, or, you can just take this ride with us if you don't want to buy it. And we're going to walk you through. By the time we're done, you're going to feel like you saw the movie.
I recommend taking this ride.
Yeah. Take the ride with
where
us.
your brain's gonna suit.
I mean, I have a
Fall
copy.
out of
Let's
your-
just start renting it out.
Email
It'll
the show.
be like the old Netflix, but like the new
That's right.
Blockbuster.
Oh,
That's right.
I was going to say, just be like Blockbuster.
We'll just mail you Kurt's Blu-ray and we'll just pass it around.
And then you got to
would
send
love-
it back.
Okay.
I would love to remake this movie.
Perfect. We'll do a remake and then you just email us at thisshowis@gmail.com and say, I want Kurt's copy of Mr. No Legs, and we'll just pass it around. You got to take care of it, though. I don't get it back with scratches, and I got to rewind. Make sure you rewind it.
Yeah.
This movie,
Is that just turning the disc?
it's got to turn the disc back,
It's an old,
back to the left.
Remember the disc cleaners? Remember the disc cleaners?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
DVD disc cleaner. The machine was bigger than the disc, and you
Yeah,
put it in there, and
chew it up.
It just destroyed it even more.
This movie, the thing that sent me over the edge, I was like, okay, so it's about a hardened cop and this mob enforcer, Mr. No Legs, and he works for this bad guy, and there's drug stuff and all this. And then I look it up, and I'm like, okay, this looks like a hardened cop movie from the 70s. I can get behind that. But this movie was written and directed by the guys who made Flipper.
I'm so, I missed that on my notes.
What?
Flipper?
Yes.
No joke.
No BS.
Are you serious?
The guy that directed it, Rico Browning and Jack Cowden, were the tag team guys that made the TV show Flipper and directed and wrote all of the Flipper episodes.
I'm done.
You look at their filmography, and it's Flipper, Gentle Ben, which was like a TV show about
Sure.
a bear. It's like the bear version of Flipper.
I think that's with Kurt Russell, wasn't it?
He might have been in it. I don't know. I didn't dive.
I thought he was young Ben.
I didn't do a deep dive on Gentle Ben, but if Kurt Russell's in it, now I got to get in the weeds on that.
Sure.
Thanks a lot. So there was Gentle Ben, Flipper, and then frickin' Mr. No Legs, and that was the last thing they ever did, was this movie.
This is the greatest filmography.
It was it.
ever.
And they called it quits after that.
What kind
Can't
of
get any better than
what kind of
this.
trajectory of a career is that? David, if we watch Flipper, I mean, I know it's old. I mean, we had the benefit of Nick at Night when we were kids,
Yeah.
and so we would catch Flipper. And so I don't know if you can even get Flipper these days if you didn't,
Probably find it.
But it was basically a TV show about a dolphin. It was like Lassie, but it was a dolphin, right?
My God. Yeah, you're right. It's
All right. That was anyway. Rico Browning was the director.
can't believe that.
The other claim to fame that Rico Browning had was he actually played the gill man in the underwater scenes for the Creature of the Black Lagoon. All those the famous horror movies back in the black and white days. That was
So
him.
he was actually the actor?
He was in the suit.
Oh, in the suit?
Yeah.
That's actually pretty cool.
And then, as I said, it was written by Jack Cowden, who wrote Flipper. This movie starred Ted Vollrath. I know we talked about him a little bit already, but Bob, you're the one I think that told me this guy was a Korean War veteran.
Yeah. As I was researching him, he was a Korean War veteran. I don't know if he lost
He lost his legs in the war.
He lost his legs in the war.
Yeah.
And that's as much as I know.
What-
I thought that was really cool. That
He earned a black belt
Yeah.
afterwards. So,
Yes.
like, imagine that, man. Like, earning a black belt and you literally are in a chair.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
It is.
but
It is very impressive. Hats off
mean-
to him.
you really need the belt to keep your pants up.
Yeah. That's true.
Just saying. I don't know
That's true.
how you can you
But he
use
does-
the belt at that point or
Normally I might like hit a buzzer and call a foul on a joke like that. But like when you put yourself in a movie called Mr. No Legs, I think you open yourself up to all of the jokes.
Yeah.
He had to have some creative creative insight on this.
And I'm assuming he had to have a sense of humor about his situation if he's in a movie called Mr. No Legs.
Okay, I'm going to put this up on the wall here.
What's it say?
No legs jokes.
No Legs jokes.
So,
You're going to keep track.
I'm going to keep track. One
Great.
for Kurt. All right, we got that.
We're all going to end up in the devil's dining room for this one,
This
boys.
is great. So, just real quick, I want to, before we get a bad
Yes.
email,
Yeah.
it is not Kurt Russell.
Oh.
If you want to look at this
For Gentle
and tell
Ben.
me who that little boy is, you may enjoy that.
Gentle Ben.
Okay, he's looking at his phone.
Is that Ron Howard's brother? Is that Clint Howard?
Clint Howard. Clint Howard is Gentle Ben, ladies
What's
and gentlemen.
amazing is Clint Howard looks just like the 50-year-old version of himself, but just with a tiny head.
Yes.
so it's even funnier because their dad is in this movie.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That probably is why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a ton of connections, and the movie business is it's who you know and
Sure.
people that you work
Yep.
with or who you end up with, and wow, okay, because Rance Howard was also in this,
Yeah.
Ron Howard's and Clint Howard's dad, and also the dad of Jean-Claude Van Damme in Universal Soldier. Played like the stoogey that hung around with Mr. No Legs. And Ron Slinker is also in this.
Yep.
Now, we got to talk about Ron.
Oh, God.
Ron Slinker played Andy, the main cop.
Okay.
The cop that, well, let's say, as we get into, is leisurely in his duties.
All the cops are leisurely
yes.
in their duties.
They're also leisurely in their suits.
Yeah, you're right.
But he's the main character of the movie.
Sure.
He wasn't supposed to be, but
No, well-
he ended up being the main character.
Yes, he's the story is following him, even though the movie's not named after him.
Yeah.
Which should tell you something about his performance. If you're so bad that they name the movie after the villain.
Let's just clear the air.
Yes.
So the movie is named Amazing Mr. No Legs.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if we've absolutely spelled it out for you, but Mr. No Legs is not the main character.
No.
Not even like close to, I think, in my opinion, even the closest main character.
He's the main henchman for the bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is it. His screen time is a fraction of what everybody else is.
Yeah. Maybe collectively 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah. So just want to let everybody know that.
He's like the Beetlejuice of horror movies.
Pretty much.
Right. And so Ron Slinker plays the actual main cop that the movie is following. And Ron Slinker was also known as Captain Slinker, Bob,
Yeah.
from the NWA.
Yes. And championship wrestling from Florida.
That's right. He was a wrestler.
He was a 2-time tag champion.
He wrestled against Andre the Giant and Dusty Rhodes in a tag match.
Wow.
Really?
Yes.
Now, that I did not know.
Yes. He was also, get this, he was a damn karate champion. Like in real karate.
Okay.
Wow.
So he's a legitimate.
So they basically got a bunch of like old school 70s karate men for this movie.
He won 25 out of 27 karate fights that he was in.
Wow.
25-2. Was an actual cop for 10 years. Wrestled Andre the Giant and Dusty Rhodes. Then, as a booker, gave the name Rob Van Dam to Rob Van Dam. Said, switch your name to Rob Van Dam. And that was a good decision. And he trained The Rock.
Wow.
This guy.
Unreal.
This pudgy, no charisma main character who had like all of the this pudgy, no talent actor who had all of the charisma of like a half-eaten cheese pizza.
So you should have. So you're telling me they should have called this the Amazing Mr. No Charisma?
Yeah.
This is like, am I wrong? You guys saw the movie. I mean, it was like
I was there.
That shocks me, and I think that's cool. That
the
he
dude's
just literally-
life story was so much more interesting.
Right.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that. That's he trained The Rock, who is the most electrifying man in entertainment right now.
And what it's funny is it looked like he was doing fake karate the whole movie, like judo chop.
Yeah. And then he would hold up his hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that guy was a karate champion.
He was. Yeah, that's crazy.
Maybe he just didn't know how to adapt from that to the movie business.
I don't know.
Really?
Well,
Joe, I think you would be more convincing doing fake karate than he was doing actual karate.
Well, look at that goatee.
I don't know, man.
That goatee does karate for Joe.
Do you have another fist under that thing?
No, it's just another
Wait,
foot.
I'm sorry. Did you say I have a goatee?
It's a beard. I mean, look at it goes ear to ear.
Well,
what do you
didn't we
consider
have
a
this-
beard?
Yeah.
I just saw the giant goatee.
Okay, a beard
goatee.
connects.
Okay.
There's connection with a beard.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Didn't we have this joke before?
I did not have this joke
Where-
before. I was actually
No, no.
giving you a compliment.
Okay, we
I
threw
thought
off
your
rails.
goatee,
Okay.
your hair that's growing out of your
right.
chin, and
I
is that
just
not
have a
goatee?
very long front
Sorry.
beard.
I'm the Amazing Mr. No Facial Hair.
It's okay.
Ron Slinker's the only guy I want to mention here is Ron Slinker's partner in this movie, as you call Mr. Porn Star.
Oh God, yes,
Right?
Mr. Wax Face Porn Lip Star Man,
He was very orange in this movie.
dude.
Lots of spray
His
tan.
name is Joey Chitwood. And this guy was a stuntman on Live and Let Die, and he did a bunch of others. He's more of a stuntman in his career than an actor.
I thought it was George Hamilton.
And the directors had done second unit directing on some of the Connery Bond movies. So I mean, this is how it's all connected. All these guys, they got all their friends in to make Mr. No
He's a
Legs.
wonderful man, Money Penny.
There's absolutely no box office or budget in. Usually, we would say it made this much. It was this much of a budget. I don't even know if it had a theatrical release.
No.
I maybe they projected it on the back of a Denny's, like in the parking lot or something at one point.
They painted the wall, painted the top of the fridge white, and they just projected onto the fridge. The kitchen staff was watching.
The kitchen staff was watching.
3 grand slams for everybody.
This is the premiere.
Hey, where's my chicken and where's my
Right.
Chicken and waffles.
Yes, chicken and waffles. Thank you. Where's my chicken and waffles?
We're gonna have our premiere.
Stop talking. It's joking.
We're gonna have our premiere at the Grothman's Chinese Theater. The famous one? No, the Denny's across the street from that.
In the same parking
In the
lot.
same parking lot. We're gonna project it onto the theater until they tell us to turn it off.
This is where you go down into the basement of a laundromat to watch a movie like this.
This is what I'm saying. This is definitely a
I
laundromat
said,
basement.
it's like a snuff film. That's
Well,
what
no,
I'm
I
saying.
would say it's nothing. This is what could be considered a grindhouse film.
Grindhouse film. Sure.
In a way.
Yeah. No,
you're
yeah.
right.
This is something that like they were
The
making.
cover is more the cover is more grindhouse than
Yeah.
the actual movie is.
Oh, okay.
This seems like something like the not just talking about the style of it and the way it was shot.
Yes.
Not the content of the script or anything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like something that like was mimicked by Tarantino when they were doing like Death Proof and stuff.
Robert Rodriguez should remake this film.
100%.
I think that would be great.
It would be great.
I guarantee you he's seen it. I
This
guarantee you.
Oh, 100%.
He's got to have the amazing Mr. Four Legs.
I think, we're just going to go right there.
This guy just has 2 extra legs.
They should remake the movie with Robert Rodriguez. And Mr. No Leg should be played by Antonio Banderas.
Okay.
No.
But they're in the worst places. He's got like one coming out the back of his head.
You can't choose.
All of his crew just, he's got a nickname called.
He's got a chest leg.
But who should play the cop Andy?
That would be easier to kick indoors. Right
Who
through.
would play Andy? Well, you got to have John C. McGinley, right? It's got to be like a dopey.
John C. McGinley should replace the porn guy.
Yeah.
The porn cop. And then,
Oh no, McGinley. I'm thinking of Riley. I meant Riley, not McGinley.
John C. Riley.
John C. Riley is
Hey guys.
yes. That'd be perfect.
All right, so you got Antonio Banderas as Mr. No Legs. You
That's
got
right.
John C. Riley, but who are you going to have play the Bob Boss?
I think it only
Marissa
makes
Tomei.
Marissa Tomei.
Marissa Tomei.
Gender swap it.
That's right. Gender swap, but it's 2022.
Oh my god.
Who's going to play No Legs?
This
Antonio
Antonio
Banderas.
Banderas. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
a table.
A table? Because he's got 4 legs? Yeah.
This movie is currently sitting at a 5.0 on IMDb.
Wow, right on the buzzer, huh?
But it's got less than 500 votes.
Oh.
So I feel like if all 4 of us voted, we could get it. We could get it to 4.9.
I was actually trying to help it.
We have that power.
I voted it at 9 at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
I couldn't take back that vote.
It currently. I'm not making this up. It is at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yes.
With one
4
review.
I was going to say, it's got to be like 4 reviewers.
There's one review and it was
So
good.
it's got-
James Smith 1,
second.
James Smith 2, James Smith.
So wait a second.
Yes.
It has a better review than Avengers Endgame?
Yes,
Yeah.
technically this is fresher than Avengers Endgame. And it's got a 22% audience score. So the audience, there's more votes
That's
there,
weird.
obviously.
70% of that audience doesn't know what they're talking about.
I don't understand why.
So, guys,
Weird.
we're much deeper into the episode than we usually are at this point. But real quick, give me your overall impression of the film, Bob. This, I'm assuming, is your favorite movie of all time.
It started off really well. I was watching in Kurt's basement.
Yeah.
And it just slowly just kept going down, 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 down. And
Oh.
I was just kind of like, wow, this is a dumpster fire.
I think there was like 15 minutes left. And you were just like,
You're done.
I'm done.
like,
I
I
don't
gotta
want
go
to do
home.
this movie.
Yeah.
I got to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah, I was
Would you have enjoyed it better if we'd watched it in the basement of a laundromat as you...
Hey,
The atmosphere would have been better.
possibly?
There'd be more to watch. You could see the laundry just spinning around and around. Oh, look, I found a purple sock.
Curt, what do you think of this movie, just in a general sense?
So obviously, I get excited about these movies that we've
Yes.
never seen now. I mean, we've watched Gymkata and Megaforce
yeah.
and just these like awful movies.
Yeah.
And I've grown to really like them, guys.
Yes.
And so, like,
Yes.
Yeah.
this movie hit me in a weird way. I mean, it like swept the legs out right from underneath me.
Oh, mark that on the sheet. Yep.
I love this movie.
Yes.
I ended up loving this movie. I will watch this again. I will
Oh,
tell you
man.
right now. it is not my favorite movie, but man, I don't mind. I would watch this in another year and just go, man, this movie's so great. I mean, there's a couple of times when I was watching it, there's like pieces of tape, like splicing the film back together.
Yes. Literally.
And you're like, what is that? And there's like, there's like specks and hair showing up on the film. It like you said, it gives it that kind of like raw old school feeling.
It adds to it.
It is raw and old school.
What do you think, Joe?
I think it fell a little short of expectations.
Oh. Wah, wah,
Okay, anyways.
Fell short. That's one for Joe.
Fell short. Put it in.
I share Curt's sentiment. I've grown to absolutely love these things. When I seen this pop up on our list, I was like, yeah, I have to do this. I have to do it. I love these things. But yeah, it like with Bob, it starts off weird, and then it goes to weird, and then it takes a twist and goes weird, and then it comes back full circle to like, I don't understand what's going on, but this is really weird.
Yeah. A fair and accurate representation.
100%.
Guys, I have to say,
How about you?
I didn't hate it. I actually kind of thought it was kind of metal.
Yeah.
You know? And I don't know if it was just the 70s-ness mixed with the bad action and the, there's something hardcore about it.
Yeah.
It's
That car chase at the end really kind
That's what I'm
of
saying.
solidified it.
That's what I'm saying. That put it over the edge for me.
Well,
So,
any movie from that time, I mean, you had to have some sort of crazy car chase. I mean, that's
Yeah.
a trope in itself there.
100%.
70s
100%.
car chase.
Yes. After Bullet and French Connection came out, it was like, well, guess we're having a 15-minute car chase to end every cop movie for the rest of time.
You have to.
Right. Well, let's dive in, guys. This film, for the uninitiated, is kind of all over the board. So we'll do our best to keep this as coherent as possible so you can follow the story. But it's very jarring even when it starts because there's no opening credits.
Nope.
At all. They don't have time for that. No opening credits.
They have time for Colonel Sanders, though.
They do have.
Yeah, and Floyd the barber.
It kind of opens on Colonel Sanders filling, and it's real hard to know what it is. Is it weed? Is it cocaine? They're like putting white powder into pills, but then they're wrapping it in like corn stalks.
But he was basically rolling cigars, right?
Right.
That was the
Filled with pills.
filled with pills. So
Well,
they're-
and then 11 herbs and spices.
but, but yeah, so they had some kind of narcotic that they were literally picking out of corn stalks. Like pre-filled baggies, but they were like twisting it out of pre-existing corn stalks, like how
Right.
you would harvest an ear of corn.
Exactly.
But yet it was not corn; it was just a baggie of some
So-
narcotic.
right. And they're like, here's the bad guys, and we're doing drug stuff.
Is that how drugs grow?
That's what I
Do
thought.
they just grow like in a corn husk with like
That's what they made it
bag
look
already?
like.
Yeah.
That's what they made
Yeah.
it look like. And so they were more like, look, they were harvesting the drugs of the
Yeah.
tank crew than anything.
I mean, there was like a 15-minute ordeal where Mr. Ron Howard's dad was like
Rance,
untwisting. Oh, Rance, thank you.
Yeah.
Was like dipping his finger in. He's like tasting. He's like, yeah, that's good stuff. Like,
That's right.
Yeah.
That's some good cornmeal.
Yeah, well, we meet Rance and then Chuck, which is like his other bad guy henchman, and they're like in this super secret, area where you've got to come through
Warehouse.
like
Yeah.
this warehouse thing. And
Well, the door says keep out.
that's right.
It does.
That's how they
Keep
keep.
out.
That's how the cops stay away.
Private.
Right.
Do not come through here.
Cops tried to raid it one time, and they're like, "Crap,
Yeah,
No.
it's got to keep outside.
door."
Sorry.
Keep out.
Gotta
All right,
find
boys.
another way in, guys.
Wrap it up. Get the dogs. Yeah, so this is basically just an introduction to the bad guys doing drug stuff. And then you're going to introduce us to the cops now, right? And so there's this drug bust on a pier. We've been working this case for 9 months, and here's our chance. And these dudes in like T-shirts and jeans. The cops.
with very bad V-necks.
With very
bell bottoms and
and
Like, we got to go bust these guys.
being V line.
bushy chest hair.
That's right.
I think Otis Redding wrote a song about this.
The story.
I think it was cops sitting on the dock of the bay.
That's right. And they
I knew where you were going with that.
basically a random karate fight on a dock breaks out because they're here to bust these nameless people.
Yep.
Just to set up that these cops are karate cops that can do awesome karate stuff.
Yep.
And we finally, out of nowhere, get our opening credits.
Yep. I think it's a good way of delivering credits.
Oh, to freeze frame every time anything happens. Halfway through a punch, freeze
frame.
Well, they drop kick that guy where just a leg comes out and like extends out and kicks the guy into the water, and then they freeze frame it right before he hits, and they're like, music by.
They should have just retitled this movie Handlebars and the Handicap.
They should have. Mark that one down.
Handlebars and Handicap.
That's one for Bob.
That's no.
At one point, it freeze framed, and the title comes up, and I'm like, it says Gunfighter. I'm like, wait a second. I thought the movie was called Mr. No Legs.
They forgot they were making a Clint Eastwood movie at the Studio 15.
So the movie's got 2 titles.
Yeah.
But you can't find it by Gunfighter anywhere, even though that's the title when you watch the movie. It's always under Mr. No
What
Legs.
if it was an opening credit for another
was no
movie
guns.
that they just stole?
I was laughing so hard, guys.
Well, and while they're on this dock, there's still like no Mr. No Legs showing up yet.
No, all right. At this point, I'm like, okay, there's been 2 titles, 18 mustaches, and everyone has legs. So what the heck is going on here?
Man, it's a little bit of a disappointment.
Honestly,
I did see the Jenny in the background.
Jenny.
Yeah.
The ship.
Yeah.
Oh,
The boat from
Forrest. Yeah.
from Forrest Gump.
Dan.
Which, if there was a Lieutenant Dan, I mean,
That's
he had no legs.
He was the original Amazing Mr. No Legs.
That's right.
Right. Put some respect on Lieutenant Dan. Absolutely. And here's the next, I'd say the next 10, 15 minutes of this movie is probably the worst of the movie because nothing happens. There's a bunch of exposition and it's really just dragged out and slow. And people are like going to talk to people.
It's called dialogue without words.
And it's just like lots of shoe leather, right? Where it's just like this guy walking from his car into here and he talks to this guy and they don't really say anything. And they're really slow about everything.
Shoe leather?
Yes. Shoe leather is a filmmaking term where you include things that aren't necessary when you're shooting a movie, right? So, for example,
familiar.
But is that a joke? Do we count that as a hatch?
Well,
Because shoe leather, we can't really.
No.
No? All right.
Good stretch.
but basically, like if you had a guy pulling up into, like, say you wanted to go into an apartment, okay?
Yeah.
Like think of in Pulp Fiction when Butch pulls up to his apartment to get his watch.
Sure.
Okay? It shows him pulling up and because there's a point to it, he's sneaking to see if anybody's there. But then it cuts and he just walks into the apartment. Having a lot of shoe leather in your script means the camera would follow him for the entire 5 minutes that it takes to walk up to
Instead
his door.
of just showing the 2 seconds.
Instead of
him.
just
Yeah,
cutting,
I gotcha.
he pulls in, he's in the apartment.
Gotcha.
Then you're getting rid of the shoe leather.
I see.
But
Gotcha.
there's a 10-minute part of this movie where it's all shoe leather, right?
Yeah.
It's just half of it is them just walking around.
Yeah.
I knew what it was. I didn't know it was called shoe leather.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Well, like you said, there's like only 7 guys up to this point and 18 mustaches.
Well, right. And so the movie is trying to do what every movie tries to do at this point. They're trying to move the chess pieces into place. Everyone knows who's who and what's what. Except in this case, you can't usually see the gears moving, but it's like the gears are not just moving, they're smoking and on fire. And they're grinding because it's taking forever.
It's a grindhouse film.
Oh, it is. There you go. Characters meet up and they just stare at each other mostly.
Sounds about right.
I mean, why talk when staring confusedly at someone is an option?
Is this where like they're already on the second set of docks too, where they're loading up this truck?
Yeah,
full of drugs?
that's right. They're loading up the truck full of drugs and nothing of
Well,
really
and
any consequence happening.
this is when we find out that somebody's starting to like overthrow the system because the guy ends up handing them money.
Yeah.
And then the other guys were like, "Oh, they took the bait," kind of thing. Like,
Right, try to see if if they take a payoff or whatever.
right, exactly.
But the guy's like trying to prove himself to Mr. No Legs,
Right.
Who's there to basically, and doesn't he kill a guy that took the money right there on the spot?
Yeah.
I feel like every scene he's in, he kills somebody.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's like he's gonna waste everybody and just take it all for himself by the end.
All right, so I know we're all over the board here. So, but as we get into the actual plot, basically, Mr. No Legs is there at the drug running operation, and they're trying to see who will take a payoff, who they can trust on their team of people that are running drugs. One guy takes the payoff and he kills him, right?
Right.
And now the drugs go off in the truck, and that's it.
And he kills him in the most ridiculous way.
Yeah, how did he kill him again?
The double barrel shotguns
We should talk about that.
mounted into his wheelchair.
His arms of his wheelchair are mounted with shotguns,
Yeah, and he slaps them, and then these shotguns pop up,
which
just blasts.
is really inefficient.
It's really kind
Because
of
you
cool.
could, well, it's cool. Like it's like
Yeah.
somebody sat and like, wouldn't it be awesome if he had shotguns?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then in reality, you can only ever shoot the direction that your wheelchair is facing.
Well, right. That makes Mr. No Legs a real straight shooter.
Oh. Write that one. Okay.
Does that
Oh
count?
my gosh.
I need a tape. Tape this up on the wall. We're up to 5.
Oh my gosh. Everyone, I think, had to go slow. Here's the thing, because these guys are the flipper guys.
Right.
Okay? And they're only ever used to writing like about 15 minutes of plot for anything.
Sure.
Right?
It's kind of how the movie's done.
And they
it's like
had to
15 minutes of plot.
And they had to stretch it into 90 minutes, and they
Sure.
didn't know what to do. They'd only ever made episodes of television.
Right.
So they're
With
like
a dolphin.
Right. They didn't have a dolphin. Like, crap, we don't even have a dolphin.
That's
what the hell
probably why
what are we
they're out
gonna
on
do?
the docks all the time.
That's what I'm saying.
They're saving some money. They're probably using the set from Flipper.
At one point, this guy probably wrote 15 pages. He picked up the phone and he called Rico Brown, and he's like, I don't know what to do. We don't have a dolphin. I got 15 pages, and 3 of them have dolphins in it. I had to throw those out. We're down to 12 pages.
Let's get a guy with no legs.
Yeah.
Oh, jackpot.
I'm constantly getting calls from Ron Howard's dad. We need to come up with something now.
Rance Howard's pissed.
When's this movie going to happen?
Right? This isn't going to be another Gentle Ben situation. Okay? You're putting me in this, not my dumb kid. Sorry, Clint.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Ron.
No, Clint Howard
Oh, I
was
see.
in Gentle Ben.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I get the connection now. I apologize.
Ron Howard, while Clint Howard was slumming it in Gentle Ben, Ron Howard was in the Andy Griffith Show, like the most beloved television show
Absolutely.
of all time.
And can we say Mr. No Legs is the only guy without a mustache in this movie other than the good cop?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
There's like 2 guys. No
That's how you know you
mustaches.
couldn't trust him. It was the 70s. He didn't have a mustache.
That's right. Oh, and then Mr. D'Angelo. Yeah, so I guess 3 guys with no mustaches.
So this is where we find out that the actual head of the criminal organization is Mr. D'Angelo, who has this very nice mansion that Mr. No Legs goes to kind of report to him. Here's what's going on with the bad guy drug stuff. All right, cool, man. Good job, Mr. No Legs. Here's a cookie. And they have their little bad guy powwow.
He never
And-
blinks, by the way. Just want to point that out.
He orders his food and he's glaring at the person. Like,
Yes. Yeah.
every line he delivers, he's got his eyes narrowed
Yeah.
and he's glaring. You're right, he never blinks.
Never does.
Not once. The
Mr. No Blinker.
Mr. No Blinker. This
Trying to set the scene here for the crowd, you know.
Yeah, Mr. No Blinker, Mr. No Legs, porn stash.
here's where the plot kicks into high gear.
Woo.
Okay? Chuck goes home to his girlfriend, who is not happy.
That she
No, Chuck's the cop. Ken is the guy that goes.
Andy was the cop, I thought.
Andy and Chuck are the 2 cops.
Yeah.
Chuck
Ken is
is
the bad
Joey
guy.
Chitwood is Chuck?
Yes.
Yes. I think.
Sorry, I didn't.
Chuck, I don't want to you don't want to confuse the listeners
You know.
about Mr. No Legs.
Yeah.
All right. So Ken
is the bad guy.
Ken
yes.
is the younger bad guy. Anyway, Ken goes home to his girlfriend. His girlfriend is mad at him when she finds that he's got some drugs in the house, right? Because he's working for this drug guy.
Yeah.
And I'd say there was a fight or I'd say there was a struggle, except there wasn't. It'd probably be more accurate to say that she kills herself by throwing herself into the television.
Yep.
Yep. She saw the DirecTV bill.
My parents always said that TV will kill you. Right there.
He's like, he's got her by the arms and they're having like a heated discussion. But when you look at, he doesn't really push her. She
was
flings-
mildly inconvenienced into the TV.
She flings herself back head first back into the television.
Ken, I'm not going to be a part of this. Ah!
And it's really not like hits it not that hard.
No, but
Dead
the TV
instantly.
is like trashed, and there's the shattered glass.
And she's instantly dead.
Do you know how thick a TV tube was back then?
People die really easy in this film.
Yes, thank you.
Make that point.
That is a running trope
Yes.
throughout this movie.
Anybody, I mean, you sneeze hard enough, and the guy gets blown back through a, triple pane glass of window, and he's dead.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. In fact, that
That would be awesome. If someone just
I was waiting for the
sneezes and pull
flashback scene to show how Mr. No Legs lost his legs, and that it was going to be something really, really trivial, like he.
Well, he was on the dock. Maybe it was a schmelting accident or something.
A schmelting accident?
Yeah.
He was
That's
fishing.
schmelting's hard to pick up once it's finished.
He was fishing up the
You
coast.
really got to put your legs into it.
He was fishing up.
Roll 6.
He was what?
He ran into Rambo.
That's what happened.
He can't run into Rainbow.
That's
He can't run into anything.
No, he can't.
I'm going to count that as the same one.
Okay, that's fine. So Ken's girlfriend is dead on the carpet because she
Shag carpet.
Threw
gently
herself against the
she
TV.
gently fell into the television.
Yeah.
Oh, Bob, that's not shag carpet. We'll get to that.
That's not the shag carpet I was referring to.
Hold
Were you
on.
ready for that one? All the bad guys come over. Okay,
All of them.
when this happens, like Mr. No Legs comes over.
I don't remember a ramp being.
Rants.
I don't think there was a ramp at the front door for him to get up there.
No, he doesn't. He just could climb up with his teeth if he needed to. That's
true.
Mr. No Legs.
Well,
we're
and
talking
can I
about.
tell you something about that whole thing
His
that I
butt
think's
cheeks have to be very
hilarious?
callous.
What's hilarious to me is Mr. No Legs shows up at the party, right?
Yeah.
So he's at the party, and then 10 seconds later, he doesn't have a suit on. He's just got his regular shirt, and he's at the hotel,
Right.
figuring out how they're gonna
Cover up this.
TV fall.
And why need a cover up
why need
in
a
the
cover-
first place? Because here's the thing. They come up with, like, it was a total accident,
Yeah,
right?
But was it?
And
Could've
so
left it at
there's no they come up with this totally convoluted cover up.
Yeah, so they're going to
Throw her in the backyard with the tomatoes.
Hold on, not yet. So they inject her, quote unquote.
With drugs.
yeah.
Like,
While
let's
she's
shoot her up.
already dead.
Let's shoot her up
Well,
with drugs.
she's already dead. Which your blood's not moving, but we're going to go ahead and shoot it anyways. All right? Bob, you threw me off. And then at first I was like, okay, they'll just leave her there, right? But no. What do? They take her out.
And they throw her in the garden with the tomatoes.
Garden with the
But not only that, but they're also talking about, like, they were going to have to, like, write a letter or something.
Yeah.
They just kept adding more and more, making it more and more complicated.
Yeah, it was very complicated.
It's
They
totally
sh-
unnecessary.
They should have.
You know what you should have,
not only
dude?
wrote a letter, but they should have, postmarked it
They should have.
last Tuesday.
Right.
They should have added flamethrowers to his wheelchair and
right.
incinerate the body.
Yeah.
All right, here's
yeah.
what we're going to do. Call a dentist.
Call
Yeah.
it dentist. Kill every single dentist in the tri-county area.
Find out who her dentist is. We'll
Yeah.
kill them. Plant a note on the dentist
Yes.
that points to his mother. Okay,
And from that note, points to his grandmother.
that's right. You go buy a ticket to the circus. Okay,
I'm gonna slip.
Which one?
I'm gonna slip some
State-
very colorful fabric into her pockets to make it look like she fell and had an affair with somebody from the circus.
right.
Right?
Is it the gorilla or the tiger at the circus?
Yeah, the type. Whatever. Right?
Can you imagine?
That's right. And then we'll get a hot air balloon.
This,
I'm joking, but this is kind of what.
Yeah.
Well, and
This
all
was
the
like-
while, Ken doesn't call the doctor. No, he calls Lou over. And he's like, "Hey, man, what do you think I should do?" Well, what's the issue? Well, her brother's a cop, man.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then that changes everything. Then that's when this big eluded plan comes up.
But
Yeah.
why? Because it was an accident.
Yeah. And he even says that. The
Right.
bad guy's like, well, it's not that big a deal. It was an accident, right? Well, yeah. Well, but yet here we are.
Here they are. They go through this whole convoluted plan, like Bob said, plants her with the tomatoes. And then they kill Ken anyway.
Yeah.
well, yeah, he was too damn good looking.
So then,
He was the hottest guy in that movie.
They blamed that on the TV repairman.
Yeah.
that's right.
The poor TV repair
Right.
guy.
The hot air balloon
what they
drops
did.
her off.
10 years earlier, they had a guy they put through TV repair school. Okay.
Poor guy's gonna get
Just for
ambushed.
this.
He's gonna
And
get
they-
ambushed by
He's the
SWAT.
plant.
And they
He's
said-
the plant.
Someday we're going to need something from you. Okay.
Oh my god.
And this is what is all coming full circle.
HBO? You want HBO?
Well, and one of the best scenes right there was when
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, his brother's a cop. and Mr. No Legs does that like knuckle grip.
Oh.
Like,
Close
I hate
up.
cops. My arthritis acts up.
This
You know,
was the
like-
director getting. This is the director getting creative. Everything else had been like a static, basic shot, but
Yeah.
his big dramatic choice there from a filmmaking standpoint is knuckle close up.
Yeah.
Cops.
My bones hurt.
So Ken, is helped by these guys to get rid of his girlfriend's dead body, and then they just murder him anyway
Yeah.
because he's a loose end.
Yeah.
And so why go through that whole charade with Ken? I don't understand.
I like how they just waste a lot of time on walking up to places and doing this and that.
They do.
And then the one thing I kind of want to learn a little bit more about, they just skip over.
They just skip straight to it.
Shoot him. All right, call him a day.
Well, and Ken's kill scene cracks me up because he gets shot by Mr. No Legs from inside the car.
That's right.
And just so you know, it's just Rance and Ken standing there.
That's right.
So Rance and Ken drop off the body.
Yeah.
And yet Rance has to pick up, or Lou's the name of it.
Yeah.
So Lou has to pick up Ken and throw him in Mr. No Legs' trunk by himself.
Yeah.
Because he can't get out of the car.
Yeah. So he's like, you can't even get your helper to like get out, your driver to help me?
That's the worst part about being a henchman for a guy in a wheelchair is you got to do everything.
Right.
Literally.
He's like, I guess I'll just pick up this body you just shot.
Yeah.
Mr. No Legs would have done nothing without his handler.
That's right.
Well-
Rance is...
I'd be asking for a raise, or I'd be wheeling his ass into the freaking ocean.
All right. Well, look, the girlfriend's brother happens to be hero cop Andy from the karate fight earlier. Okay. Mr. Beer Belly karate champion is her brother.
Got it.
And when he
took it hard.
he took the acting, boys, when he found out
Yeah.
Bob, can you recreate
the way
that?
he said no. Do you remember how he said it?
No.
He said who said no? It was like nah, and then
Oh, yeah.
it was so weird. No. He goes to his bar to get drunk, and this girl talks with him, but only after she finds someone to hold the menu that she has in her hand.
Very random.
This movie takes 5 minutes. It shows this girl, she's got this menu, and she's just kind of standing in the front of this place, and she wants to go talk to the guy, but she's just looking around. Like, what is she?
She was the hostess.
What is she doing?
She was the host.
I don't think she worked there.
She just had a
Menu.
Oh, somebody handed me this menu.
And finally, the guy was up. She's like, "Oh, thank God!" and hands him the menu,
And then walks away.
and then walks to go talk to Andy, and just goes and talks to Andy, and they have this conversation.
Well, and I love right before this, before we get to this scene,
okay.
I love the fact that he's in the bar drinking his sorrows away, and like, all right, next up is Johnny Lightning and his band, and they're gonna sing the song "Your Sister Just Died," you know, like, and he's just sitting there moping as this like horrible music's playing.
The leisure suits on those guys were
It was incredible.
chef's kiss.
So after they listened to the "Sister Died" song, right?
Yeah.
He ends up going home with this girl, and they end up in the bedroom.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Just an ordinary.
There was a bedroom.
When I say bedroom, I don't mean a bedroom. I mean a bed room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas the entire room is the bed.
It was like a 20 by 20, just like skinned rug of Falcor from Neverending Story.
I'm like, is that a
fitted sheet of that?
I'm like, where does the room start and where does the bed start? And it didn't.
Yeah,
it
there's
didn't.
curtains.
No, it did.
From corner to
Yep.
corner, wall to wall, it was this. I'm like, there's shag carpeting, and then there's what this was, which was like the carcass of a Yeti.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was
Luke
huge.
Skywalker was in there, frozen.
This is the inside of a tauntaun.
I thought, where is this guy just laying on the floor? But then you realize he's in like under the covers. This whole thing is
Yeah.
like a giant.
Set
I don't
of
know.
blankets, just the
With a bed.
yeah.
It's the most insane thing I've ever seen.
And then she comes out dressed like the Sherpa Queen vampire.
Yeah.
And they get into
Yeah.
bed together.
Yeah.
But they already were in bed together when she came in the room because
Right.
the whole room's a bed.
And then she like she feels all like sad. She looks over at him, and you see the one tear because he's just staring off like,
That was his
my
allergies.
dead sister.
That was his fucking allergies.
Because of the fur rug.
All the dander in the room.
And
then she like kisses him gently on the forehead.
nothing
On
happens.
her forehead.
And she's reaching for lights that I don't know how you turn off all the lights in there.
Apparently,
Nothing.
by the remote.
Nothing ends up happening. And even the next morning, she gives him a ton of crap for his poor performance in the bedroom.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, his sister literally just got killed by a television.
Maybe she wasn't very good herself.
No. His sister literally fell for a circus clown.
Oh, that's right. I'm
And
sorry.
then fell out of a hot air balloon onto a pile of TVs.
And was killed by her dentist. Or a jealous dentist. What if he had just stated the really bad cover story? Like, wouldn't believe what happened to my sister. She fell out of a hot air balloon onto a pile of televisions that was piloted by her dentist.
I couldn't believe it. How does that happen?
It's terrible. Well, this action-packed movie, you'd think, all right, here we go.
we reached the pinnacle.
The vendetta
right now.
to find his sister's killer. This man's not going to rest until he finds his sister's killer. But it's more like, yeah, we'll see how the day shakes out. I might do that. Right?
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
You are
Oh yeah,
so right.
it was the most casual, vengeful movie I've ever watched in my life. I'm gonna go to the bar and get myself a root beer float, but I might find my sister's killer.
Right.
Maybe
It's
I'll
like
just do it tomorrow
After lunch.
after lunch.
riveting,
Root beer float's really good.
riveting police work by Captain Charisma.
Captain Charisma.
Pizza Cop. I'll just call him Pizza Cop from now on.
Pizza Cop.
He's like, if
Pizza Cop because I like pizza.
if a slice of pizza was a cop, it was this guy.
Pizza Cop would be a lot better.
Plain cheese pizza. Nothing exciting about it.
Call him
Bob, we got to make Pizza Cop. What a great movie would that
dude,
be?
Pizza Cop would be great with drugs inside soda.
Yes, they're
plot.
smuggling drugs in the
Inside
soda cans.
Yeah, they're smuggling drugs
through a pizzeria,
through a pizzeria.
Yeah,
Only
so when you
Pizza
call
Cop.
for a
Brilliant.
pizza, that's how you get your stuff.
and only one hyperglycemic cop can stop them.
Yes. And how he was created, he was a pizza boy, and he witnessed a drug bust,
Yes,
and he got thrown in his own pizza oven.
he turned, and so
he-
he has facial scarring that looks like pizza.
Pizza and the boy merged together to become one. Pizza samurai.
Oh my
Face.
gosh!
Instead of two-face, it's like
Pizza
three
face.
quarter. Man.
Is that 3/4 face? That's the bad guy's 3/4 face.
3/4 face. Yes. Pizza.
3/4 face
versus Pizza
versus
Cop.
Pizza Cop. All right, boys. So basically, the police work in this movie is they ask some questions. Then we get 3 more scenes of him lounging around with this chick in the most like
She has some hairy eyebrows.
70.
No, that was her. That wasn't her eyebrows. I mean, that was her hairline.
Those are her windshield
hair- those
wipers.
I don't think she had a forehead.
Windshield
Her hairline just came down to her eyes.
I'm all
eyebrow.
about chicks with unibrow, but you got to tame that.
He just literally would be like, it's a little bit of
was one
police work.
eyebrow.
We get another scene of him hanging out with this chick. A little bit of police work.
I just want to say he does give us beer bellies hope.
He does.
I love the fact that he was just a regular dude.
And she has the most 70s house of all time. I think when it turned 1980, they had to tear it down. They're like, this
is what our
this house is not allowed to
70s.
exist. It's not allowed to exist in the 80s.
This is like funny enough because our parents lived through this.
Yes,
time.
I know.
You can only imagine.
I imagine what they must have been like back then, but I'm
my
glad I
God.
didn't find out.
Yes.
All right, so at this point, all the bad guys are kicking it at D'Angelo's, who's suspicious and paranoid and says stuff to Mr. No Legs, who's like, yeah, Mr. No Legs, what's going on in my organization? There's some shady stuff going on. And he's like, oh, don't worry. Everything's good, boss. Boss walks away. I'm going to murder this man's entire career.
Right now. Wait, not now. Wait, later.
Later. Well, Mr. No Legs is basically plotting against his boss.
Yeah.
Well, and I love that Mr. D'Angelo has these bad guy pool parties. What a great boss.
Yeah.
I want to work for that guy.
Tuesday, pool party?
Yes. Pool party Tuesday.
Oh man, are we gonna have drinks or
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll run some drugs on Monday. Tuesday's a pool party.
Fantastic. Sign
More
me up,
drugs
please.
on Wednesday. Okay.
Mr. No Legs was pissed off because they didn't have any arm floaties.
Mark that one down. And Fridays, you can wear jeans, except for you.
Write that one down too.
What does
Okay,
he wear
all right.
for casual Friday?
How do you suppose he got his flippy floppies on?
He didn't. They just
Like
he
his nubs.
ties them to the end of the wheelchair. They just kind of sit down there.
Gonna just fit on his like callous ass cheeks?
Okay.
Dokey. Now comes some more police work. Stakeout at the bar. Let's do a stakeout in the brightest orange Camaro.
Yes.
All time.
Yes.
Very incognito.
Very subtle.
Oh yeah.
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 I mean, it is 1970, so maybe there was.
What was that car, Joe?
Well,
I think it was a Camaro.
yeah, I think I'm pretty sure it
The
was.
front end did
Yeah,
not look like a Camaro.
it's a
though.
six-
Highly- it
it's a
was highly
68
modified.
Camaro, yeah.
Was it highly modified? That front end was huge.
No, that was pretty standard.
That was the standard?
Yeah,
Okay.
for 68 Camaro.
That was a girlfriend?
yeah, it had a very open grill.
Oh, the car. Sorry.
The car, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Well, they're at this bar.
Girlfriend's a 68 Camaro?
No,
pizza-
it had a huge front end.
Pizza Cop and his partner
Pizza cop.
are at this bar because he's got a CI, a criminal informant there, right, named Debbie.
Oh my god.
And
Is that her name? Which one? I was calling her Whitney Whitebread. I had no idea. I did missed it.
she looks like she fell out of the trailer and hit her face on the stairs.
We met a lot
Okay?
of people like that at Drifters.
We did.
Oh, my gosh.
And she's in there and she's talking, and there's like this dude who's trying to pick up another dude who's clearly a dude, but it's a girl, right?
Yeah.
Like total crying game, like
Yeah.
like scene about to happen.
Yeah, I mean, he had the biggest clavicle bones I've ever seen.
Why would you walk into this bar and there's two random swords on the wall?
There's three.
There's three.
They just had broadswords just
Did you-
adorning
They
the
had
wall.
everything. They had
Did you read
oars
the
and
bathroom
shields.
doors?
Shotguns.
Did you read the bathroom doors? The names,
Tasers.
the names on the bathroom doors? I can't repeat one word, but
Oh.
one says men, the other says
Oh,
it's
With
a
the
lady.
B?
rhymes with witches?
Yes.
No, I did not see that.
It was just kind of funny to me.
Classic.
Okay.
It was classy.
Bar.
All right.
I think the bar's called Seven Seas.
It's a nice joint. Anyway, so girl number 2 walks in, and she's not a big fan of our girl Debbie.
So Debbie was the informant.
Yes,
The
the,
one
Debbie
with the
is-
missing tooth.
one with the missing, the white girl with the missing tooth. Then this African American girl walks in, and apparently Debbie has not been very friendly to her. I'm trying to say this. Some words were exchanged that we're not allowed to say. Nope. Let's just call
Use your
Well,
imagi-
I think
use
she
your
calls her
imagination.
Bitchy Bessie or something like that.
Yes.
But,
Yes.
so like, which I thought was
pretty rough.
well, and I thought that was like a throwaway garbage pail kid. You know, like
Oh, yes.
Bitchy Bessie.
There you go.
But anyway, so here she finds out she threatens the Whitney Whitebread that she's an informant. She's
Right.
like, I know you're working for the fuzz.
Well-
And so they start getting into it.
Yeah, there's a big fight.
While Mr. No Legs is having a drink with the
With
coolest, hippest short man on God's green earth.
Yeah, like a little.
A little person.
It's a little person.
Yes, but he also was.
A midget?
Can't
Black?
say-
Can't say that.
You can't say
rejected-
African American?
No, I'm pretty sure he was a pimp.
Oh, a pimp.
That's what I'm
pimp.
saying.
Oh,
I mean, it's all criminals that hang out here,
Yeah.
right?
It is like
what is he pimping?
it is
I don't know.
The best bad guy hangout.
It's definitely not
I mean-
rulers.
Yeah.
It would be like if all of like Batman's villain rogue showed up at the same bar.
Right.
And that's like basically, but it's like all the B and C rated characters
Well,
that
it's just-
show up.
Yeah.
Just
It's just funny because there's no.
corner.
Why am I here? There's. It's funny because there's no context, right? And
No,
it's not like
no.
that like a little person is funny just because they're there. But when you're not expecting it, and there's this fight between these two girls, and it just cuts to, and there's Mr. No Legs totally unexpectedly sitting with a black pimp
Yeah.
who's like 3 feet tall. I'm sorry, it was funny.
There were
Yeah.
more legs than there were context in this movie.
There's no context at all. With
Well,
no context.
and Mr.
at
No
all.
Legs likes to hang out with people his own size.
He does.
That's true. This guy made him feel big.
At one point, the fight kind of gets nearby. They're wrestling with the two girls are wrestling with each other, and she gets near Mr. No Legs, and he just stabs her. Just
Yeah.
Right.
But
right
not
there.
before Toothless just hits her in the face
with a beer bottle.
with the beer bottle.
Well,
Yes, of course.
She shatters the beer bottle and
Yeah.
stabs her
Right.
with
And
it.
then stab,
Yeah.
thank you. She stabs the beer bottle.
Yeah.
and
Oh,
stabs
thank
her
you.
with
Right. Debbie did kill the other chick with
Yeah,
a beer
and
bottle.
then that's
Yeah.
when she's getting ready to walk away, and Mr. No Legs is like with a knife
see
right
his
to the
face
gut.
He's made the best facial expressions. Absolutely.
Well, he's got nothing else to use.
And so they come in after the place clears out, and the cops are like, well, was this your informant?
Yeah.
He's like, yep, this was her. Crap, need to do some more police work, but let me hang out with my chick at scene number 4 for the first, and then we can do that. And meanwhile, Rance needs to steal back Ken's body because somehow the cops found Ken's body, and Ken is now in the morgue.
So I think we did miss on something that will bring this all
because we're already at an hour.
Yeah, we're going to try to hurry up here.
Okay.
The cops were talking to the chief earlier about the original death.
Yes.
And there was something off about the chief knowing something before it was released.
This was true.
That was really early.
And the captain was a race car driver.
And the captain was a race car
Right.
driver.
That's right.
Apropos of nothing, he's like, by the way, did I ever tell you guys I used to race cars? That'll be important later.
Wait. Just wait.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing.
Like forced shadowing is what that was.
That was great.
Yeah, but no, that's a good point to bring up. Is that there seems to be some shadiness going on on the
How did this
police
episode
side.
get to an hour long?
Because this is one of the best movies we've ever done, and so we could talk for 3 more hours about this. We're gonna try our best. Here we go. Rance Rance shows up at the morgue dressed like what? I don't know, a body delivery man or like what?
Yeah.
What to say? Well, hey, we got to have this body.
Hey,
These are very
I'm coming to pick up
What are
the
you
body
doing?
and take him
You're
to the
busting
mall.
my balls here. I'm trying to work.
Hey, I'm just trying to steal a body. Hey.
Don't you guys know how hard it is to get a body from one place to another?
Yeah, come on,
help
figure
a
it-
brother out
And this,
here.
the guy in the morgue's like just not having it.
Yeah.
Right? Like no,
And
you
he looks like a crazy evil scientist himself, you know.
But he's the smartest one
Right.
of them all.
But the
Well, I
cop-
love that they back right up and they open the doors to the morgue, which I guess makes sense if you're loading up dead bodies.
Right.
But the fact that the door was unlocked and they just walk right in and there's the doctor like,
What's up? This the morgue?
Hi, yeah, oh yeah. How'd you know this was the morgue?
That's right.
Yeah.
But then the cops show up and there's literally like a judo chop. Right? Is the door clear for the camera?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's good.
So then the cops show up and then there's like a straight up judo chop like it's an Austin Powers movie, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And
like knocks him to the ground.
knocks him to the ground.
And Andy flaps over the dead body of Ken laying there and he's out
That's right.
cold.
Out
no
cold.
pun intended.
But Rance gets away, okay? And
Yeah, he grabs the scientist guy and he's
That's
like,
right.
or the other cop or whatever, and he's like, yeah, it's the other cop, it's Chuck.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, this man's trying to steal a body. So everyone like grabs him and he's
right.
like, gives him the getaway so they
That's
can get
right.
back in the ambulance and drive off.
and cut to, and you're like, all right, they're going to chase after him. No, it cuts back to the Yeti room,
Yes.
and they're back in bed in the Shag Yeti room,
Yeah.
right? And
Shag room.
and this is where I think, they're trying to set, or D'Angelo, we find out, is trying to set up Mr. No Legs, okay? So there's a random phone call that comes in while they're in the Yeti room.
The shag room.
Yes,
Literally, they shag
in the Shag room.
in the shag room.
This is true.
Is that how the name was?
Maybe.
Maybe.
And maybe because carpeting was like beddy enough to lay on, like so that you were good to
You
go.
would have
I don't know.
intercourse on this, so
Yeah,
they were
maybe.
called
The phone rings.
whatever.
And Andy answers it, and he's like,
It's just let's keep going.
Andy answers the phone, and he's like, yep, okay. All right, yep, sounds good. Hangs up, and the girl's like, what's wrong? He's like, yeah, someone I don't know called me at your house in the middle of the night and invited me to a bar that's now a crime scene. I just thought it'd be a great idea to totally go.
And I need your car.
I need your
You have a gun?
right?
And your minigun.
He's just like, just going to go. Okay,
Yeah.
no problem. We'll go. So they go back to the bar, okay?
Yeah, back to the Seven Seas bar.
Back to the Seven Seas bar.
And it's all cleaned up. Like there's
Yes.
nobody. There's no dead bodies. There's nothing. It was like there wasn't even a crime scene there.
Right, but Mr. No Legs was there with Rance. Why
Right.
were they there? This is what I don't remember.
Well, they were gonna kill him. They set it up to
Oh,
where
that's
because
right.
they found out who the cop was.
That's right.
And then they were gonna set him up to try and kill him.
Right. So what happens is they start struggling. I mean, they're fighting the guys in there, and Rance jumps on Andy's back, and Mr. No Legs activates his shotgun arms.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Andy quickly turns around and
just
Lou gets shot.
kills Rance Howard.
Yep.
Right, just shoots him right in the back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, these guns are just the worst idea you ever had. How do you aim a wheelchair?
I think his knife.
Hold on.
I think his knife was worse in that scene than the actual guns. Because if you slow it, if you go back, or if you ever get to watch the movie,
yes,
slow down, you stop at the point, he pulls out a knife after he stabs somebody, whatever.
Yeah.
Mr. Noleg pulls out a knife, and you could see the knife blade retract into
the hilt.
the hilt.
They didn't even try and hide it.
It was obviously a prop knife.
It was like
just slowly shrinks back into the hilt.
Yes. And
should be the amazing Mr. No Cell.
How on earth, every time he fires those shotguns, does his wheelchair not go flying backwards?
Well, and Andy goes leaping behind the bar so he doesn't get hit with the second shot.
Right.
And how does he reload that? Where does he keep his ammo? Like in his underpants?
Right straight up in his undies.
Next to his colostomy bag.
Oh, gee.
Henchman number 2 grabs a broadsword off the wall, and I'm like, finally. There's been all these bar fights. Like, no one's going to grab a sword.
Yeah, like a 7-foot broadsword.
Right? And he chases Pizza Cop out into the parking lot. And he gets into a car, and you're like, oh, he's going to get away. No, he drives in a circle.
Yes.
Around the guy, and the guy is just banging on the roof of the car with his broadsword as he's driving. This is a real scene in a movie that exists.
On a really nice Stingray.
Right.
Too. Corvette.
Yeah, convertible.
Eventually, he tries to dive in and stab Pizza Cop through the window, the driver's side window.
Yeah, but he misses.
But he misses.
It goes to the passenger door.
But not just through
the
Yes.
passenger door.
Half the sword is now stabbed through the door and it's sticking out the other side of the car.
But there's a reason for that.
And the car is crashed into another sweet movie trope. Cardboard boxes everywhere.
Yes.
Okay, but a sword is not going to pierce a door like that, I imagine. All the way from the other side.
Attitude.
Oh my gosh.
What's the point?
The point is they get out and now they're fighting. They're having a karate fight outside of the car, and Pizza Cop wins the karate fight.
Yes.
And the guy flies backwards and is impaled on the sword that is sticking out of the car.
In one of the best death scenes I have ever seen in my life.
Yes.
The amount of blood that came out of his body. Bleh, 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 bleh. Still going.
Yeah. Right, so he ended up killing himself because he's the one that put the sword there.
Right.
And then he gets impaled on it.
Well, that's what you get for fighting Pizza Cop.
Yeah, don't draw a sword to a car
Fight.
What?
What?
It was more of a karate fight.
Yeah.
Don't bring a sword to a karate car fight.
Karate car.
That old chestnut.
That old
Don't bring a sword to a pizza party.
That's right.
That's right.
Not against Pizza Cop. And this is my favorite. Okay, this is probably the time I laughed the hardest. The police show up and they start to tape the place off and they're talking and all this stuff, right? And Rance was Mr. No Leg's driver, right? And he was killed. And the other guy was killed on the broadsword. And so like, oh man, I can't believe this guy, the Mr. No Legs. And I'm like, he's probably only a block away.
Yeah.
Because he has to wheel himself.
His driver's dead, so the only mode of transportation is his own wheels.
Right now he's a block away, like, just trying to get down the road.
Maybe he's got nitrous.
Right, on his wheelchair.
He's got nitrous on his wheelchairs.
I'm like, guys, literally just walk a block that way and I bet you'll find him.
They should have had that scene. Like, oh, I don't know where he went. You just see him in the background, kind of like earlier or later on in the movie when they block off the roads for the car chase.
Yes.
You can actually see the cops standing there blocking.
Oh my gosh!
Directing traffic and such. But have like the same scene, but him just kind of rolling away, perfect, slowly.
That would have been perfect. The next scene we get is Mr. D'Angelo is now attempting to murder Mr. No Legs so he's like, oh man, can't believe that cop almost got us at the bar. Are we having a pool party tomorrow?
Yeah. Only this time it's going to be during the day.
That's right. All right, cool. So it's pool party Tuesday.
Invite my hot girlfriend.
Again, he invites this girl that's in like 2 scenes, says nothing.
Yeah.
And
she's eye candy, basically.
It's like the gardeners are there.
Well, yeah, it's like a set of like landscapers.
Guys like blowing leaves,
and the other guy's like spraying. He's just spraying like
This is a prelude to
spider takeaway poison.
Sure,
that's right.
Pesticides. You mean?
Thank you.
Spider takeaway.
I'm really bad with words.
I can tell.
And Mr. No Legs is looking around like, I don't know, these landscapers
look awfully shady.
They look like they know karate.
I think I've seen that guy in my class before.
And so the landscapers attack.
They do.
What'd you think of that scene, Bob? What was your
Okay, that's
favorite?
good.
What was your favorite kill in the scene? Because this is Mr. No Leg's big fight scene in the movie.
Well, I have to say I did thoroughly enjoy his acrobats on his wheelchair.
What he's able to do with his upper body is impressive.
There was a scene earlier. That he was doing push-ups in the air. That
Yep.
was really cool.
Yep.
Don't worry, I'm not going to say anything funny.
I'm just waiting. Just right here waiting.
Joe's just got his pen up on the thing.
Something's going to happen.
I mean, he grabs a ninja star.
First, he pulls out a ninja star, throws it
into his jugular.
throws it at his jugular.
He has a heart attack.
Guy has a heart attack. The 5-finger death punch.
What do you mean he has a heart attack?
Yeah.
Well, meaning the amount of force from the ninja star causes his heart to explode.
Oh, because he grabs his chest.
Yeah.
Grabs
He
his
caused-
chest.
yeah.
It's in its
neck, so he hit his neck
and
just
he grabs
right.
his chest, goes. Goes over.
Only certain amount of people in the world can achieve this kill, and
That's right.
obviously Mr. No Legs can achieve it. So the guy's heart explodes through his jugular.
The
Falls in
famed.
the pool, and then I don't know, this guy looked like Chef Boyardee. There was a random chef, so we got the landscapers are taken out, then there's this random chef, and here in comes the awesome slow-mo butt kicks.
That's right. He uses his
Flying butt pliers.
butt stump
He uses his butt stump.
and he pushes himself up off and just nails people with his lower half.
And
Basically,
that is a very impressive.
No, I'm not making fun of him.
impressive.
No.
Because
Like,
I couldn't. I mean, the upper body strength this requires, and it's impressive that he's able to fight.
Yeah, I thought that was very impressive.
Yeah.
I call that move the silent but deadly.
Oh, nice.
Wah, wah, yeah.
You can add that. That,
That was a
counts.
good one.
That
No, that
counts.
was a good one.
Add
That
that on there.
I'm just
Hey,
messing around.
He's half the fighter we are.
That's right. He ends up in the
We're up to
pool.
15 now.
He's fighting two people in a pool.
Yeah, so they end up
He's just
falling in the
beating them
pool.
off one by one.
He's what?
What?
What's he doing?
He's fighting the two guys in the pool.
Right, in the
Just-
pool.
Yeah, just beating them off.
What?
I don't. What?
There was a fight.
Right.
I don't
With two guys.
Yeah.
I think you're
Maybe
wrong.
three guys.
I think you're wrong on what happened. Bob, what happened in the pool?
He chokes the guy
That's right.
and
Underwater.
That's right.
So manages to swim. Mr. No Leg somehow.
Yeah, it was
manages to
great.
swim. It was great. Yes, I thought that was really cool.
I can't swim and I have got both of my legs.
You know, you try to look for the guy. Like, is that a stuntman or is
Is
that?
it swimming or more bobbing?
No, he was fully swimming with his. I mean,
was
you can mark
fully
it down.
swimming.
You can mark it down, but he was swimming.
He's technically a human paddleboard.
He is,
He is a human paddleboard.
but it worked.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't swim with both, and I have both my legs. He made me feel like a chump.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, Johnny Lawrence would be proud of Mr. No Leg.
That's what I'm saying. He probably would love the crap out of this movie.
He probably does.
After this fight scene, I was trying to think of like what cool action names could he have other than Mr. No Legs. I was
Yeah.
thinking like Bruce Knee
Okay.
or Chubbs
I don't
Norris.
think he had
Chubbs
these.
Norris.
Better.
Chubbs Norris. Or I was
Chubbs
thinking even
Norris.
like Bruce Wheelis. I think would be a good one.
We're up to 20.
Okay. So Mr. D'Angelo is unsuccessful in his attempted murder of
Yes.
Mr. No Legs. Okay. He he goes to meet with his his contact. We don't know yet who the accomplice is with Mr. D'Angelo, right? There's been, as you said, some shady stuff with the cops.
Yep.
But this is the moment we find out that the police captain, Captain Hathaway, is in on the criminal enterprise.
Yep.
Right? And so D'Angelo is meeting with the police captain, played by John Agar, and we find out he's a dirty cop. Now, you know who John Agar is, Bob?
How long did it take for him to get to that drug spot in that building?
Oh, well, we'll get to that in a second. But
No, I don't know. To answer your previous question, I do not know who.
John, he didn't have a big part in it, but he actually did a ton of like John Wayne movies. He was in,
He looked like a John Wayne actor.
yeah, he was in Sands of Iwo Jima. He was in Big Jake.
No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was a legit guy back in the day.
This is the race car guy, right?
This is the police captain,
Captain Hathaway.
who had mentioned that he used to race cars, and they're going to that drug base where
it takes 10 years to get to.
it takes 10 years to get to, right?
Well, yeah, Mr. No Legs basically sets all these guys up to meet in one place because he's planning on killing them.
Right.
Right.
It's a setup.
Yeah, it's a setup, exactly.
But to get there, Mr. D'Angelo has to take 2 elevators,
Yeah.
Yep.
A bike path.
right? You got to go through the
of
keep
stairs.
out door.
Yep. Set of stairs.
They spend 5 minutes every time someone walks into this building
Yeah.
to show you how long it takes to get to the room where the donuts are made.
You're right.
Okay.
Rick would be proud.
Right. It takes forever.
But then the chief shows up, knocks on one door, opens it up, and there he is.
He's in the same room.
Yeah.
It's like, hey.
Because he came through the back door. That's just a garage door bay.
There's literally a door to a parking lot. The guy pulls up right next to the door, walks right in. Hey,
Why
what's
don't
up?
we just meet here?
Instead, the guy started off down the building, started off down the street, and the guy just kept going.
The jerk move that he pulled right into the handicapped parking spot.
He did. He really did.
It's like those bad video game levels where you enter on one side, you come out the other side. You're just like, I could have just entered.
Could have just walked in right here.
Well, speaking of bad video games, the music in this scene was like the doo-doo, doo-doo,
The whole movie.
doo-doo, bong,
Bang.
doo-doo, doo-doo,
Keep going. Yeah.
bong,
It's Mr. No Legs.
doo-doo,
He's coming for you.
bong.
But it's going to take a minute
Bongos in there.
Yep, get some bongos. Yeah.
because he ain't got shoes.
A little bit of cymbals.
Oh my gosh. So Mr. No Leg shows up. He's like, surprise, bitches. Okay.
Nobody sees him.
And meanwhile, the cops are on their way.
The cops are also coming there.
Andy and
So
Chuck.
it's like the moment where all the people are coming in the same place to have it out, so to speak. So Pizza Cop and Jeff are coming, and sorry, Kurt.
Sorry, what?
Shouldn't have said that when you were drinking. And they're on their way.
Jeff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
That's Chuck.
Oh, okay.
Mr. No Leg shows up and he tries to kill them, but he only is able to kill Mr. D'Angelo
Right.
because the police captain just shoots and kills Mr. No Legs right there. You were so upset.
was so
I was watching this with you, and you were so angry.
I was.
Why were you so mad?
Because it's like you have a villain like that, and you have him on the cover of your darn movie, and you give him the worst death, and it was just bad.
Was it though?
Why wouldn't you just throw a dynamite stick
disposable.
on him and kick him out the garage door and watch him blow up, and his wheelchair
had-
just rolls down the street?
Something
They
cool.
needed a machete or a pipe bomb. Something
cool like that.
something cool like that.
Or drive a car through the warehouse and just take him out so he's on the hood, and then use your windshield wipers to like
They couldn't have.
knock him off or something.
They couldn't have used a machete. There was coolers of ice all over that room. And we know that an ice-filled cooler will take out somebody wielding a
Or
machete.
take a fire hose to him. Fire hose the guy into oncoming traffic to
Did
a
he
bus
find-
full of children. Just blast him.
Did he find the marble in the oatmeal?
Like a school bus. He blasts us out of the warehouse, and the school
But he just
bus
gets-
at the same time comes and just blasts us.
None of that happened though.
But all that happened is he gets shot 7 times right in the chest
Lame.
With a 6-shot gun.
with a 6-shot gun, and the police captain is able to get out of there before Pizza Cop and Jeff can get him. And so, as we talked about earlier in this episode, the last 15 minutes of this movie is just a car chase between Pizza Cop and the thing that really sucks for them, though, is when the police captain runs out of the building, he jumps in their orange Camaro.
Well, yeah, because that Mr. No Legs' new driver is outside.
Right.
And he pulls out the gun and he's like, pew, pew.
Right.
And he's like, oh, I can't get in my car. I parked too close to Mr. No Legs.
Right.
And he's like, I got to go steal this orange Camaro.
Right, which, again, it's just a terrible idea to drive that kind of car around as a cop.
Not when you're a race car guy.
That's right. And so this car chase, I mean, it's got all of the car chase tropes, all of them.
how many?
All of them.
Like during the meeting, they were sitting there like, how many tropes would you want in this movie?
Well, we got to have him driving through a trailer.
Okay, got it.
We got to have him crashing through some boxes.
Got it.
Random ice delivery. That's got to happen. We got to
We got to
crash
have
through that.
a multiple police cars.
Crash.
Yeah, that crash.
Make sure
we can only afford 2.
Make sure the police cars.
You gotta have my cousin just pull out a random trailer onto the freeway. You know what I'm talking about?
Make sure all the cops we hire can't drive or see.
Yeah.
And
They all have to wear motorcycle helmets while they're driving.
Yeah.
we should talk about now the fact they only had 2 cops.
Yeah. They had 2 cops and 2 drivers.
They kept reusing the same drivers, even after guys would like crash, the vehicle would explode, and then it'd be the same driver in another car.
Yeah.
Every time they came through a town, the cops in that town would go, "Oh, there's a chase going." They would like join the chase.
Yep.
But it was just the same 2 guys.
One would get picked off, and then one would join.
Exactly.
One would get picked off, one would join. It was
Another
always
great
just 2.
car chase trope, the bridge raising up.
Oh, the bridge is out.
Yeah, the bridge is starting to raise up because there's
there's like a boat that's coming
Yeah, a
underneath
boat
it,
that's
so they got
gotta
to raise the bridge.
Can you imagine if there was kids in those cars and that guy fell on top, like crash on top of?
The cop just demolished the roof of like 8 cars.
He did. Like flattened them pretty well.
Well, I don't even think there was a boat. I think the guy in the booth that controls the bridge is like, there's a car chase going on here.
I need to raise this.
We got to
bridge.
raise this bridge or it's not allowed to be in the movie.
This is the safest decision ever.
We can't have a car chase in this movie. They're going to cancel the whole thing.
Which can I mention
couldn't
during
afford
this
a boat.
scene?
Yeah.
There was a great moment where Mr. Gorotowski was like, "Hey, pause that for a second."
Yes.
And there was a roadblock set up with
Yes.
real cops at the end of, and they left it in the film. And
Yes.
you're like,
Generally,
why
when
are
they're
those cops sitting back
when
there
they're
for?
shooting these, that's on closed roads.
Yeah.
But they'll, competent directors who just do things other than flipper
Competent TVs.
will know to not have the roadblocks and the cops in the frame, right?
Yeah, you would think.
They're just like, nope, they're just right there.
No, they won't notice.
And they're just cops just there chilling, like smoking a cigarette.
Drinking coffee.
Just drinking coffee, watching. Man, look at this. They're shooting this movie here. That's pretty
This is-
crazy.
Wow,
Huh?
this is cool. What are you doing later after this?
I'll go to a pool party at Mr. D'Angelo's house. What finally
There's a new bar in there.
there is. What finally stops him is he crashes into this block of ice and he ends up in the back seat of the car.
Yeah, covered
Okay.
in ice.
Covered in ice, and he's all cut up.
In glass.
And the
blood.
other thing I should say is when they go in there to talk to him, right? They're like go in the window like, Captain Hathaway, how could you, or whatever. And he's just like,
He does a Yoda.
he spouts gibberish.
Yes.
And they're trying to have a conversation with him. And you think like, okay, this will maybe go on for a second. No, they have like a 2-minute conversation.
Yeah. And then they cut.
And then at the very end, he's finally like, I'm out of here.
Well, and I love that
There is another, right? Yeah.
I'm
Good. I'm out. And he just dies.
they cut to Chuck and Andy.
Pizza Cop.
And Pizza Cop looks over at him. He's like, "Did you get any of that?"
Nope. Time for my 3:00 appointment.
And I'm not making this up, guys. I'm not. You know I'm not because you watched it. After the captain dies, Andy, Pizza Cop, walks around confused for a little bit, and then the movie is over.
That's it.
That's it.
Da-da, da-da, bong.
Mr. No Legs.
Bob, you're bongos.
He didn't
You're
make it.
I'm gonna do symbols.
Ba-da, ba-da, bong.
He got shot with a gun now,
Ba-da, ba-da,
but his head is up now.
ba-da,
Mr. No Legs
ba-da.
is now Mr. No Face. Sorry.
Wow, did that just happen?
All right. That's it. All right, guys. I guess, before we get to the awards and everything, we've got to do this. Was there anything in your notes, anything as you watched that you appreciated, something in the background, anything like that you want to point out? Now is the time to talk about the little things. Go ahead. I've only got one.
Go for it.
The way they shot Captain Hathaway in the car chase, he never was in that moving vehicle at all.
Never.
Every shot of him inside
Back
was
window was all dirty.
they,
So
like,
you couldn't see the back.
covered the back window so you couldn't see he wasn't driving. It was just him like with the steering wheel going,
Reaction shots, yeah.
turn left. And he was definitely in a stationary car.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And it was just so obvious. It was hilarious
Yeah.
to me. That was my one little thing.
My thing that I thought was really funny is I like to notice like little things in a movie and you're like, how did that happen? So like I like to go a little further and think about how did the bad guys rent that ambulance? Did they have like a full ambulance?
Right.
Did they go to Rent-A-Center and just rent an ambulance for the day?
Because I know it was hard for us to get an ambulance when we needed one for our movie that we made.
Well, right. And I just laughed so hard at that. I thought that was really great.
That's good. Anybody else? Any little things before we move on to the awards?
I also enjoyed seeing all the payphones.
Yes.
Were rotary.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the rotary payphones.
Yeah.
Go one.
It's glad they didn't show a gas station at the time.
Oh, I know. Good Lord. Well, that's because they were out of gas in 1978. Wasn't there a shortage?
There was.
That's really loud
Yeah,
downstairs.
it's
all
like
of
a
sudden,
pizza
isn't
party going on. Is there a pool party?
There's a party.
All right,
I think
all
we're
right.
downstairs.
Dr. D'Angelo's house.
All right, well, as we always do, it's time to give out some awards. This movie is not undeserving of awards. Every movie deserves some love, and so since we do it for all the others, we're going to do it for this. And we start off, as we always do, with the Will Patton Award for Intensity. Will Patton sets the bar for intense actors. He lives at 10. Where in the scale and who was the most intense actor in Mr. No Legs, Bob?
Mr. No Legs, 7.
All right. And you thought he was about 3 notches under Will Patton.
He was a 3-notch under Will.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
7 on the Will Patton scale is like a lot.
Yeah, he brought it.
All right. I respect that choice. So Ted Vollrath.
Ted Vollrath.
Ted
yes.
Vollrath. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kurt.
Mine's also going to Ted.
Ted with a double vote.
Thought it was fantastic.
All right. Sounds good.
He carried it. He couldn't walk it.
Every time I hear the word cops, I want to clench my fist in anger. That intensity has to get a nomination.
3. All right. So my vote doesn't matter. He's won the award at this point.
That's it.
But I still am going to say who I picked. But I will say this. One thing, he was very intense. And I did love, I maybe should have said this during Little Things, when he got down to fight the guy, how he was just like doing the whole Bruce Lee thing, right?
Yeah.
He's like, wah!
Yeah, and he like tightens his fist.
Yeah, and it tightened fist. That was great. He was super intense.
Yeah.
But I actually had to give it to Lloyd Bachner, who played Mr. D'Angelo. I mean, the dude never blinked. He was just super intense and glaring at every single person he talked to. The criminal boss, the guy that didn't blink.
Yeah, no, I get it, but intensity?
Everything he did was intense. He was super intense.
But Mr. No Legs had so much emotional range.
What?
Yeah, I mean, he had anger,
And then
hatred,
More
mad.
anger,
He was mad. And upset.
upset.
Mr. No Legs wheeled this movie to the finish line.
I don't disagree with you,
there
but
it
I
is.
just thought Mr. D'Angelo
I thought we were done, but
was, he did. I mean, he was good. But I found myself laughing more than anything. I was like laughing so hard I couldn't stand up. Kind of like him. All right.
I'm glad I'm taking a tally.
The next award that we give out is the Trash Can Full
Andy.
of Dirt Award. And let me explain what the award is. Hold on. We're going back. The Trash Can Full of Dirt Award is next. It is the award that we give out to
Andy.
Bob, we only got like 3 minutes, man. Come on.
The Trash Can Full of Dirt Award is the award that we give out to the actor who we thought had the worst emotional range, basically had the acting ability of a trash can full of dirt. And so who do you think was your Trash Can Full of Dirt winner?
Andy.
No.
Really?
Ron Slinker?
No.
Pizza Cop?
Pizza Cop.
But he was so emotional.
Yeah. He was about as emotional as my plunger for my toilet.
He was confused. He was
does a crappier job.
he was
Waka waka.
frustrated. He was not sure where he was.
He was hungry. He was.
I mean, I've had those days too, but good God.
He seemed very hangry.
All right, who's your Trash Can Full of Dirt winner, Kurt?
I'm with Bob.
Ron Slinker.
I did. I went with Ron Slinker.
All right.
Yep. Joe?
I'm gonna go different.
Okay.
What was Ron Slinkler's girlfriend in the movie?
Oh,
that's a
Unibrow.
good
you
choice.
don't know her name because half of the people on IMDb don't have their name or the character name next to their picture.
It was Gwen.
So whatever her name is,
What was her What is her movie name?
she didn't even
Gwen.
have a movie name. Was it Gwen?
It's Gwen.
Was it
Gwen.
Yeah.
I think
Gwen.
I think he could have had a relationship in a shag carpet room with a trash can full of dirt.
With streetlights.
They were perfect for each other.
And
Those were street lights in there.
They
You're right.
were.
yeah, and I think it would have been just as moving.
You know, I went with Ron Slinker too. I know if you're that bad that they named the movie after the villain, then you deserve it. All right, top 3 performers. I had Ted Vollrath as number 1. I had Rance Howard at number 2. And then Lloyd Bachner again, Mr. D'Angelo at number 3. So all 3 were bad guys in my top 3.
No. Well, it's a bad guy driven movie, really.
It really is. What about you, Bob? Who do you think are the best?
The television set that killed the girl.
I like the way you think, Bob.
Mr. No Legs.
Okay.
Okay.
And this is for you, Clint. The orange Camaro.
Yes.
How dare you?
All right. Kurt?
I'm going the same route with you, man.
All right.
Yep.
The 3 bad guys?
Yep, the 3 bad guys. I went with Mr. No Legs at number 1. And I went with Ron Howard's dad at number 2.
Yeah.
And I went with Mr. D'Angelo at number 3.
Perfect.
Mr. No Legs.
Yeah.
Okay. Not the Camaro, but the stunt drivers of said Camaro.
Shout out to that stunt team.
Okay.
They're all still
Seriously,
alive.
And then number 1 is Mr. No Legs' chauffeur. Because without him,
Yes, that's true.
this movie would not have existed.
He can do nothing.
Well, yeah,
mean,
he
he
can't
drove
reach
a-
the pedals.
It's true.
That's true.
My God. You're going to have to keep crossing it up.
I know.
When we got there.
he
All right.
he drove him around. He
Yep.
probably changed him.
Yep.
Yikes.
I mean, everything. That guy did everything.
He was always there for him.
Mr.
was.
No Legs probably craps freedom so hard he made a bald eagle cry.
That's right.
True.
They cut that scene out of the movie, though.
Yeah. They're like, he looks too American.
That's
here.
right.
Too much of a good guy.
You think he craps what, Ryan Blue?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. 100%. I think they probably thought at first that it was some kind of condition and they went to the doctor.
Yeah.
But then the doctor was just like, oh,
He's
I
just
I just tested you and it's just 100% freedom. Okay. You know what? God bless him. God bless that man.
Thank you for your service.
And we've done everything but basically we've given this movie an autopsy right here on this table. And now we have to figure out
we can't put its legs back on.
whether or not this was a bad movie, full stop, just bad, it sucks. If it's a bad movie that rules, or is it just straight up a good movie? Bob, I'm saving you for last because I think the three of us probably agree. I'm going to say that it's a bad movie that absolutely rules. I love this movie.
100%.
You're with me?
Absolutely.
I'm with you.
All
I'm
three of
with
us?
you. It is a atrocious, nasty
Yeah.
70s cop flick that's just freaking awesome.
It is awesome. All right, Bob. Have you joined the dark side? Are you going to stay in Pizza Cop land? Or are you going to come over to D'Angelo's pool party
land.
with us?
Yes.
Come to the pool party. We have
God.
a girl,
Snacks.
one single girl.
Can't
We have
believe-
snacks?
Can't believe I'm saying that.
Landscapers.
All right. What is it?
It's a bad movie that rules.
Yes! Yes!
Yes.
Welcome to the pool party.
That's
Bob.
right.
Do I get that blonde with the leopard print?
Yes.
Yes.
You do.
More importantly, we have to know how would Arnold make this movie better? Because
Arnold versus Mr. No Leg.
obviously this would have been, I mean, because the protagonist was so bad, right? We always ask, would Arnold make a movie better? In this case, I think it's easy. If you pull out Mr. No Charisma, Pizza Cop,
Yeah.
and you just put in Arnold, who's played cops,
My shoe is bigger than you.
right, and put those two against each other,
If we had Arnold and Mr. No Legs fight each other,
that's what I'm saying.
In 1978.
He was still Mr. Olympia back
Yeah.
then. He would have
Yeah.
been like, he was like Hercules in New York, Arnold, right?
Yep.
What are you talking about? Is this like a kid you understand? It's like before you could even understand what he's saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's no legs and come on, I'm Hercules, right? And it would have been great. They could have dubbed Arnold. It could have been like, Mr. No Legs, I am here to fight you. Just like they did back then.
Sure.
Yeah.
Straight up would have been incredible.
It would have been great.
Oh,
That's right.
wow. The universe would explode if that movie ever was shown.
Right. What
It's like
happens?
opening the Ark of the Covenant, you'd be blinded.
Here's how I would have rewrote the ending. I would have rewrote the ending. The shotgun blasts on the wheelchair would have taken out Arnold's legs, and they would have had to have a fight on the ground.
Oh.
Just not like his legs off, but like just disabled him where he couldn't walk.
Yeah.
He just grabs his head and it just
Right.
crushes
And so they
it.
literally are on the ground having a fist fight.
I would have called him at that point
Right.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Or
Is that a No Legs joke?
yeah, I think that counts. Or you have to have a fight like in the front seat of a car. I mean, that's like the only other options, right?
What if
As Snoop said in Training Day, put him in the front seat and I bet I whoop his ass.
what?
What if they both ended up in a kiddie pool?
Yes. Or like on a Ferris wheel.
Yes, they could have had a great fight on a Ferris wheel.
Yes.
On a Ferris wheel.
Oh gosh, the climax of the movie, the Ferris wheel is at the
And they're
top,
both trying to climb to the top to get to the wheelchair.
right? But they can only use their upper bodies,
Yes.
Yes.
right?
Upper
Because
bodies, and they're climbing to the top.
oh my gosh,
And they both fall.
no one calls us. These movies would have just been so much better if you'd have just cast
And they fall.
somebody other than Ron Slinker. Sorry, Ron. Literally, the rest of your life was incredible. This was not it.
Nope.
Okay. All right. We are way over on our time here, but here's what I do want to say. Thank you guys for tuning in again. Next week, a few episodes ago, well, more than a few, we did a little bike race movie called Rad. from the 80s. And one of our listeners has requested that we do another bike race movie, except this is a motocross with, bikes that actually have engines in them. And it's called Winners Take All. And which actually had Deborah Richter in it from Cyborg.
Oh, God.
Was in this movie also.
Do they race against planes?
No, I think they just race against other bikes.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Okay, but I can't wait to do this episode and have the listeners get mad that I don't know which bikes are which, and have a big argument about it, and it's going to be fantastic. And so next week we'll be talking about the 80s movie Winners Take All, and if you want to catch it beforehand, it's not streaming anywhere, at least as the time that we recorded this, but the whole movie is on YouTube, so keep it on the DL before they take it down.
Yeah.
You can go on YouTube and check it out, Winners Take All. In the meantime, we will catch you next week. For Bob Hauser, Curt Mummer, Joseph Goratowski, I'm James Hauser. Thank you all for listening. We love you guys.
So I got the number of how many jokes we had.
Yeah,
I think
what
you
was
should
it?
write in the comments on how many do you think we did.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And then
And what your favorite one was.
Yep. And the closest one we'll figure out. Maybe we'll send the
we'll send them
DVD.
some swag.
Oh, that'd be
We'll
great.
send the DVD.
There you
Some
go.
new stickers.